My name is Shelby Afton. I'm 28 years old. Last Saturday, 19 members of my family showed up at my grandmother's nursing home. For 5 years, she had not had a single visitor besides me. Not one birthday call, not one Christmas card, not one, "How are you feeling after your hip surgery?" 5 years of silence. Then she won a $2.3 million lawsuit. And suddenly, everybody remembered where she lived. They drove in from 3 different states. They brought flowers, bakery cakes, and carefully rehearsed apologies. They filled the common room like it was a family reunion. What none of them knew was that my grandmother had been keeping a notebook, a small blue spiral notebook on her nightstand. Every night for 1,826 days, she wrote down the answer to one simple question: who showed up today? If this story hits home for you, stay with me. Because what happened in that room changed my family forever. 5 years earlier, my grandmother sold the house on Linen Road in Bryer County. It had been in our family for 41 years. White clapboard, wraparound porch swing that creaked in the wind, rose bushes my grandfather planted the year they got married. 4 generations grew up in that house. My grandmother, Dorothy Hargrove, taught 3rd grade at Bryer County Elementary for 37 years. My grandfather died of lung cancer 4 years after she retired. After that, she stayed in the house alone for another 12 years. She mowed her own lawn until she was 75, drove herself to the grocery store, balanced her checkbook with a pencil and an old calculator from the 90s. Then one day, at 76, she fell in the kitchen reaching for a mixing bowl and fractured her wrist. The doctor told her what she already knew but didn't want to hear. She couldn't live alone anymore, so she made a decision. She sold the house for $280,000 and used the money to move into Pinecrest Care Center, the nearest facility with an opening. She didn't ask any of her 4 children for help. She said she didn't want to be a burden. That was the moment the family turned on her. Aunt Donna called it financial sabotage. Uncle Craig said she was throwing away the family legacy. My mother, Linda, said Grandma was being selfish and dramatic. That was the real number, apparently. Not 41 years of memories, not a lifetime of holidays. Not the porch swing or the roses or the stories built into the walls. Just $280,000. And when Grandma chose dignity over inheritance, the family chose silence over her. I started visiting the week she moved in. Every Tuesday after my overnight shift at Bryer County General. Every Saturday morning at 10. I'm a night shift nurse. I know what loneliness looks like. The skin gets dull. The eyes stop reaching for anything beyond the window. People get quieter, smaller. So I brought 2 hazelnut coffees from the gas station on Route 12, the good kind with real cream, and I sat with her. If the weather was nice, we sat on the covered porch. If not, we stayed in her room. She told me stories about kids from her 3rd grade classroom. I told her stories from the ER. We laughed. Sometimes we just sat there and drank coffee in comfortable silence. In the beginning, a few other people made token appearances. Uncle Craig visited twice in the first month. Aunt Marlene called one Christmas. One cousin sent a text that said, "Thinking of you, Grandma." By 6 months in, it was just me. Grandma never made a speech about it. She never asked me to call anybody. She never complained. But I noticed the way she glanced at the empty chair across from her. The way she checked the mail cubby at the nurse's station, even when there was never anything in it. The way she once called me Jean, my grandfather's name, then smiled and said, "Sorry, sweetheart." "You remind me of him." She wasn't confused. She was remembering the last person who showed up every day without being asked. About a year and a half in, my mother called me. She hadn't asked about Grandma in months. "Shelby," she said, "we need to talk about you and your grandmother." "Okay, about what?" "Donna says the whole family is talking. They think you're positioning yourself." "Positioning myself for what?" "For the money," she said. "Whatever's left." I was sitting on my couch in scrubs that smelled like antiseptic, staring at student loan bills piled on my counter. My car had a cracked taillight I couldn't afford to fix. Mom, Grandma is paying for Pinecrest with the money from the house. There's nothing left to position for. I know, she said. That's what I told Donna. Then why are you calling? She paused. Then why do you keep going? That question just hung there. Like she genuinely didn't understand why anyone would keep visiting an 80-year-old woman if there wasn't money at the end of it. Because she's my grandmother, I said. Mom sighed. Donna says you're playing the long game. There is no long game. Then stop going, she said. If there's nothing to gain, why put yourself through it? I remember gripping my phone so hard the case cracked along the side. My own mother had just told me that caring for Grandma only made sense if there was something to inherit. I'm not stopping, I said, and she hung up. Year 2 was when I stopped trusting Pinecrest. At first, it was little things. Grandma's clothes weren't being changed often enough. Her water pitcher was empty. Her call button had been broken for 2 weeks, and no one had filed a maintenance request. Then I saw the bruises. I'm a nurse. I know what bruises from a fall look like. These weren't from a fall. 2 dark purple marks on the inside of her forearm, right where someone would grab too hard. I slipped in the bathroom, she told me. No, Grandma, I said gently. Those marks aren't from slipping. She looked at the door before she answered. The girl on night shift gets rough sometimes, she said. She's young, she doesn't mean it. I pushed. I asked the floor supervisor for her care log. Denied. I asked to speak to the facility director. She's in a meeting. I asked for the incident report. We'll look into it. So I took Grandma to her primary care doctor outside the facility, Dr. Wendy Pratt. Dr. Pratt documented everything: moderate dehydration, mild malnutrition. Unexplained bruising inconsistent with the reported fall. She looked at me over her glasses and said, "Thank you for bringing her in. If you hadn't noticed this, it could have gotten much worse." 2 weeks later, Grandma fell again. This time she shattered her right hip in 2 places. They found her on the bathroom floor at 4 in the morning. No one in my family called after the surgery. Not one of her children, not one. I got her out of Pinecrest within 72 hours. I filed a formal complaint with the state long-term care ombudsman. I pulled inspection records. Pinecrest was operating 40% below required staffing levels. 7 complaints in 18 months. 3 unreported falls. I found a smaller place called Meadowbrook Senior living about 20 minutes outside town. Cleaner, quieter, better staffed. A nurse named Patty Owens ran the floor, and within 5 minutes of talking to her, I trusted her more than I had trusted anyone at Pinecrest in 2 years. I put down the deposit with my own savings. $1,400, money I had been saving for new tires and a dental crown I had been putting off. Then I called the family. Craig said, "Well, she's 80. Old people fall," Donna said. "You're making this bigger than it is." My mother said, "Don't cause trouble, honey, just let it be." Nobody asked if Grandma was in pain. Nobody offered to split the deposit. Nobody drove down. I sat in the Meadowbrook parking lot after getting her settled into her new room, the one facing the garden, and cried for 15 straight minutes. Then I wiped my face, drove to a lawyer's office in Raleigh, and hired Dana Prescott, a nursing home negligence attorney. She reviewed the medical documentation, the inspection reports, the staffing violations. "This is a strong case," she said. But it could take years. I thought about every Tuesday and Saturday I had already spent showing up. "I know how to wait," I told her. "File it." The lawsuit dragged on for 3 years. Depositions, records, mediation, delay after delay. During those 3 years, Grandma did not get a single phone call from any of her 4 children, but she got something else. A blue spiral notebook from Dollar General. And every night before bed, she wrote down the same thing: who visited, who called, who sent something. At first, I barely thought about it. I'd see her writing in it after I visited. One afternoon, I finally asked, "Grandma, what are you writing?" She adjusted her silver reading glasses and said, "My schedule." I laughed. "Your schedule, same as when I was teaching," she said. "Who came, who called, who remembered." Then she added, "I keep track because I want to remember. And because I want proof I'm not imagining it." She turned the notebook toward me. The pages were neat and even like attendance records. Tuesday, March 7, Shelby visited, brought hazelnut coffee. Wednesday, March 8, no visitors, no calls. Thursday, March 9, no visitors, no calls. Saturday, March 11, Shelby visited, brought mystery novel. Page after page looked like that. Sometimes all it said was, no visitors. That was when I understood. She wasn't writing out of bitterness. She was recording the truth before anyone could rewrite it. There was a family group chat with 23 people in it. I used to post updates there. Grandma is doing well in physical therapy. Grandma got new glasses today. Grandma loved the bird feeder Patty helped hang by her window. No one replied. Then somebody would post graduation pictures or vacation photos or a recipe, and suddenly the chat lit up with hearts and gifs and fire emojis. Eventually, I stopped. Then one night Aunt Marlene accidentally forwarded a message to the wrong chat before deleting it. I saw it fast enough. It said, "Don't worry. Mom won't last another winter, and the nursing home is eating through her money. There won't be anything left to fight over." She texted me privately 10 minutes later. Wrong chat. Please forget you saw that. I didn't forget. For Grandma's 79th birthday, I baked lemon cupcakes at 2 in the morning after my shift. Nurse Patty got the staff to sign a card. Grandma read every name out loud like it mattered. Then she glanced at the empty mail cubby at the nurse's station. No cards from family, no calls. That night she wrote in the notebook, October 14. Birthday, Shelby came. Nurse Patty sang, no one else. She wrote it like attendance. No drama, no tears, just the record. Thanksgiving of year 3, I tried one last time. Donna was hosting in Raleigh. 22 people around folding tables, football on the television, everyone pretending to be normal. After dinner, I stood up and said, Grandma is at Meadowbrook just 40 minutes away. Maybe some of us could drive over on Sunday and visit. Donna put down her wine glass. Shelby, Mom is fine. The facility takes care of her, and you visit every week. She's lonely, I said. You're the one who keeps reminding her to expect people, Donna shot back. If you really loved her, you'd let her adjust. I looked around that table and realized something all at once. They hadn't forgotten her. They had chosen not to go. 2 days later, Donna texted me privately to say that I was the one hurting Grandma by giving her false hope. For about 30 seconds, I almost let that get inside my head. Then I thought about the notebook, about all those pages. Donna wasn't protecting Grandma from disappointment. She was protecting herself from guilt. Then one Saturday, Nurse Patty stopped me at the desk. Your grandmother had a visitor this morning, she said. My heart did something strange. Who? An attorney. James Caldwell. I found Grandma sitting in her chair by the window with the notebook on her lap. I'm updating my will, she said calmly. Routine. I felt a wave of panic, not greed panic. When someone in their 80s starts talking about wills, it lands differently. But I didn't ask questions. I didn't want even a shadow of Donna's accusations inside that room. Grandma smiled and asked if I had brought the coffee. So we drank hazelnut coffee and did the crossword, and that was that. Later I learned she met with that attorney 3 times and brought the blue notebook to every appointment. Then, on a Thursday afternoon, Grandma called me at work. The lawsuit is over, she said. Pinecrest settled. For how much? $2.3 million. I dropped my sandwich. Grandma, don't cry, sweetheart, she said. It was never about the money. I sued them because they needed to learn they cannot treat old people like furniture. But I cried anyway, not because of the number. Because somebody had finally put in writing that what happened to her was wrong. 2 weeks later, a short legal notice ran in the local paper. No name, but in a county that small, it didn't matter. Donna found it first. Within 48 hours, she organized what she called a surprise family reunion at Meadowbrook. 19 people confirmed they were coming. 19 people who had not visited, called, or mailed a card in 5 years. Grandma called me the night before. They're all coming Saturday, sweetheart, she said, almost amused. Saturday morning, I got there early. Same as always, 2 hazelnut coffees, same parking lot. Same October light coming through the trees, but Grandma was already dressed. Navy cardigan, hair pinned. Soft pink lipstick. You look nice, I told her. I wanted to look like myself, she said. She had the blue notebook on her lap under a folded napkin. Are you okay about today? I asked. She took a sip of coffee and said, I've been waiting for this day for a long time. At 10 sharp, Donna arrived first. Sunflowers in her arms, wrong flower. Grandma's favorite had always been daisies. Donna hugged her dramatically and said, Mom, I'm so sorry it's been so long. Then came Craig and his wife Teresa carrying a bakery cake with the price sticker still on it. Then my mother. Then Marlene. Then cousins, spouses, in-laws, until the room was packed with 19 people. Grandma greeted every one of them by name. She asked about their kids, their jobs, their schools. She remembered everything. The room filled with that fake bright kind of chatter people use when they know they are acting. We should have come sooner. Life just gets so busy. You look wonderful. We were always thinking of you. Then Donna steered the conversation where she wanted it to go. Mom, we're all just so happy about the settlement. We've been talking about your future. Craig nodded. Teresa leaned in and said, We'd really love to help you decide how to use the money. That's when the room went still, because Teresa said the quiet part out loud. Donna shot her a look, but it was too late. Grandma set down her teacup. Actually, she said, Teresa is right. Let's talk. I saw relief flash across several faces. Then Grandma added, But first, I'd like to read you something. She lifted the napkin off her lap and picked up the blue notebook. 19 people stared at it. She put on her reading glasses, opened to the first page, and looked around the room. Then, in the calm voice of a woman who had spent 37 years taking attendance, she said, 5 years ago, when I moved into care, I started keeping a simple record. Every day, I wrote down who visited me, who called me, and who sent a card or letter, just the facts. Donna laughed nervously. Mom, you don't have to do this. Grandma raised one hand the way teachers do when they want a room to settle. I would like to read, she said. You all drove a long way. Give me 5 minutes. And then she began. March 8th, 2021, Shelby visited, brought coffee, no one else. Her voice was steady. March 9th, no visitors, no calls. March 10th, no visitors. No calls. March 13th, Shelby visited, brought daisies, no one else. She kept going. Not every day, there were too many entries for that, but enough. Easter, no one. 4th of July, no one. Her birthday, Shelby came, no one else. Christmas, Shelby brought cupcakes, no calls from children. After about 30 seconds, everyone in that room understood exactly what was happening. After 2 minutes, nobody could hide from it. After 4 minutes, the entire room had gone dead silent. Then Grandma held up the notebook, every page filled, front and back. 5 years of evidence in her careful, even handwriting. 1,826 days, she said. 1 visitor. Nobody moved. Finally, Donna tried first. Mom, we were busy, life happens. We always cared. Grandma flipped to a page marked with a yellow tab and read aloud. June 15th, 2023. Donna posted family barbecue photos on Facebook. 47 likes. Donna's house is 38 minutes from Meadowbrook. No visit. Donna went white. Craig tried next. Mom, I know we were wrong, but we're here now. Grandma looked at him and said, I know you're here now. I also know why. Marlene broke completely. She bent forward and sobbed into her sleeve. I'm sorry, she cried. Mom, I'm so sorry. Grandma's face softened when she looked at Marlene. I know, she said quietly. I know. My mother sat rigid in the corner chair, jaw tight, eyes fixed on a point above Grandma's head. She wasn't ashamed yet. She was angry at being exposed. Then Donna turned on me. This isn't fair, she snapped. You put her up to this, didn't you? You told her to keep that notebook. You brought the lawyers. You've been in her ear for 5 years, making all of us look like monsters. Every face in the room swung toward me. I opened my mouth, but Grandma lifted her hand again. Donna, she said, I sold my house because I did not want my children wiping my chin and changing my sheets. I moved into care because I wanted dignity. And I kept this notebook because I taught third grade for 37 years, and teachers write everything down. Then she looked straight at her. Shelby didn't tell me to do any of it. Shelby just showed up, that's all she ever did. Donna had nowhere to go after that, so she tried one last thing. She looked at Nurse Patty standing in the doorway and said, "Is she confused? Does she have dementia? Is that notebook even accurate?" Patty stepped forward in her Meadowbrook polo and said, calm as ever, "Mrs. Hargrove is one of the sharpest residents I have ever worked with. Her cognitive assessments are excellent. And I can confirm one thing with certainty. In 3 years at this facility, Miss Afton is the only family member who has ever signed our visitor log." That landed harder than anything. Then Patty added, "Mrs. Hargrove has more than 200 books in her room. Every single one was brought by Shelby. Books aren't money. Books are attention. Books mean someone knows what you like and keeps thinking of you." Grandma closed the notebook and folded her hands over it. "I want you all to know one more thing," she said. The whole room tightened. "My will was finalized 6 months ago. It was witnessed, notarized, and completed with my physician's written confirmation that I am of sound mind." Donna's face changed. "The settlement money is not family money," Grandma continued. "It is compensation for what I endured, the falls, the broken hip. The nights I lay on the floor waiting for a call button that did not work." Donna said, "The old will split everything equally between the 4 of us." Grandma nodded once. "The old will was written when I had 4 children who visited." No one breathed. "I updated my will based on 5 years of evidence," she said, resting one hand on the notebook. "I am not angry. I am not punishing anyone. I am simply too old to keep pretending not to understand what I have seen." Then she looked around the room, at her children, grandchildren, their spouses. All of them gathered now that there was money to orbit around. And she said very clearly, "You do not give your time to people who do not show up, and you do not leave what you have to people who did not stay." That broke the room. Marlene cried harder. Craig stared at the floor. Teresa sat frozen. Donna stood, grabbed her purse, took 3 steps toward the door, then realized everyone was watching and sat back down. My mother looked at me across the room. For the first time in my life, I saw a crack in her certainty, not full regret, but the beginning of it. I knelt beside Grandma's chair and took her hand. She squeezed mine and whispered, "Thank you for every Tuesday, every Saturday." "I'll be here next Tuesday too," I whispered back. Then she placed the blue notebook in my hands. "Keep it, sweetheart," she said. "I don't need to write anymore." Donna left first. No goodbye. Craig and Teresa followed. Craig paused in the doorway, turned back, opened his mouth, then closed it again and walked out. Marlene stayed. She pulled a chair beside Grandma and held her hand for 10 minutes without saying a word. Finally, my mother approached. "Mom," she said quietly, "I'm sorry." Grandma looked at her for a long moment. "Linda," she said, "I don't need an apology. I needed you to show up. But now go home. I'm tired." And Mom did. Monday morning, Marlene called me. Donna contacted 3 attorneys. She wants to challenge the will. On what grounds? Undue influence. She says you manipulated Grandma by isolating her. I checked the family group chat. Donna had sent a long message full of legal phrases she had obviously Googled. Vulnerable elder, mental competency, isolation, manipulation. I replied with one sentence. The notebook has 1,826 entries. Anyone who wants to question Grandma's decisions can come read it. No one responded. By the end of the week, the attorneys had all told Donna the same thing. The will was solid, independent witnesses, notarized, physician evaluation, detailed documentation. And that notebook was devastating. A few weeks later, James Caldwell met with me and said, "Your grandmother is one of the most organized clients I've ever had. She did not make emotional decisions. She made documented ones." That sounded exactly like Grandma. Then something unexpected happened. 3 weeks after the reading, Nurse Patty called me during my lunch break. "Someone visited your grandmother this morning." My stomach dropped. "Who?" "Marlene," Patty said. "She came alone, and she brought hazelnut coffee." I leaned against the wall and closed my eyes. Hazelnut, she asked me what your grandmother likes, Patty said. She sat with her for 45 minutes. When I got there that Saturday, there was an empty Route 12 coffee cup on Grandma's nightstand. Marlene S., I asked. Grandma nodded. She should have asked 5 years ago, she said, but she asked now. That counts for something. Then I opened the notebook to the last page Grandma had written before she gave it to me. There was one new line I hadn't noticed before. Saturday, family came, I read the notebook. Shelby was there, and beneath it, added later, Marlene visited, brought hazelnut coffee. First time in 5 years. A couple months later, I sat in my Honda in the Meadowbrook parking lot with the notebook on my lap and read it cover to cover again. It wasn't a weapon. It never had been. It was a record of presence. A log kept by a third-grade teacher who spent 37 years taking attendance and who, in the end, decided that attendance was the only honest measure left. Not promises. Not excuses. Not guilt. Not blood. Presence. Donna sent me one last email asking me to do the right thing and talk Grandma into restoring the old will. I wrote back, Grandma's will is her decision. I do not influence it, and I do not need to. I visit her because she is my grandmother. If you want to change your relationship with her, you know the address. Then I stopped engaging. A few days later, I called my mother. I'll be at Meadowbrook Saturday at 10, I said. If you want to come, I'd be happy to see you there. If not, I'll be there anyway. She was quiet for a long time, then she said, I'll try. That was all I asked. Now, every Tuesday morning after my shift, I still pull into the Meadowbrook lot with 2 hazelnut coffees. Grandma sits on the porch in her lavender cardigan with a crossword in her lap. Sometimes she asks me clues. One morning she asked, loyalty proven by presence, not promises, 10 letters. I thought for a second and said, devotion. She wrote it in pen and smiled. Exactly right. I started my own notebook. Same blue cover, same kind from Dollar General. First entry, Tuesday, visited Grandma. She finished the crossword in 22 minutes. New record. I'm not telling this story for revenge. I'm not telling it to punish my family. I'm telling it because somewhere out there, somebody is driving across town after a double shift to sit with a person the rest of the family forgot. Somebody is signing a visitor log where their name is the only one on the page. Somebody is bringing coffee, books, cupcakes, clean cardigans, and conversation into a room that would otherwise stay quiet. If that's you, hear me. You are not wasting your time. You are not invisible. You are the proof that love still showed up. My grandmother taught 3rd grade for 37 years. She believed in attendance. In the end, that's how she wrote her will. Not by promises, not by apologies, not by blood, by who was actually there. And if there's one thing I learned from Dorothy Hargrove, it's this: showing up is not the extra part. It's the only part that counts. If this story hit home, leave the words I showed up in the comments. And if you've been the one making the drive, signing the visitor log, bringing the coffee, and loving someone when no one else would, I hope you know it counted. Subscribe for more stories like this, and I'll see you in the next one.